Breaking up is hard to do. Or maybe watching a band break up in real time on stage in front of you is even harder, I suppose. Details inside. Hey, it's Michael Douglas. Welcome back to another edition of Dr. Pundit, where we talk about music, not medicine. And I want to talk about three of the most dramatic onstage band breakups in recent memory. And we know all about the dramatic, sad, and underwhelming band breakups that have happened in the history of pop and rock. Oasis broke up, for example, after a physical altercation. The Beatles broke up somewhat quietly and then sued each other to bits. But what about the really intense breakups that occurred on stage in front of everyone and their mother? I want to take a look at three episodes that happened in the 20th century. The Eagles. Now, this has to be one of the most dramatic onstage breakups in classic rock. The story goes that after touring to promote their last LP, their last studio LP, The Long Run, the band members were just totally sick of one another. And the animosity basically came to a head during a benefit gig during which Don Felder made a rude comment about somebody who had gotten involved with the performance. Glenn Frey thought the slight was incredibly rude, and his feelings started to simmer during that performance. Incredibly, the band got through the set, but fans could hear the bandmates slinging insults at one another, going as far as to threaten each other with violence. Felder smashed his guitar, left the venue, and left Glenn Frey to communicate with the rest of the band that they were effectively finished. How about this one from the group Wham? George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley famously broke up the pop group live on stage. Now, according to lore, Ridgeley wasn't really putting much work into the group anymore, and it was time for both artists to basically focus on their solo careers. Now, we all know what happened with that. And despite being dramatic in terms of spectacle, there were thousands in attendance at this sold-out Wham finale. The breakup itself wasn't really that negative. It was strangely amicable, if anything. And during their last show at Wembley Arena in 1986, Wham said goodbye with a proper send-off. And if you look at footage of the band backstage, they just seem like buds ready to move on from their younger days into new horizons, at least compared to the Eagles. Finally, Soundgarden. Sometimes one really bad gig can be the last straw for even the best intentioned and most together rock band. And for Soundgarden, that last gig took place in Hawaii in 1997, and the band members likely knew the end was coming anyway, considering the late Chris Cornell was leaning toward his already established solo career. And what culminated in one of the most dramatic onstage band breakups ever, the infamous performance involved equipment issues and problems with Ben Shepherd's bass, which culminated in the bassist basically throwing the guitar in a rage and storming off the stage. Cornell had to finish the set by himself, and he did so with a stripped-down acoustic performance. Soundgarden announced their breakup just a few weeks later, and Cornell continued on with a successful solo career. Pearl Jam's Matt Cameron would later note that Soundgarden had been, quote, eaten up by the business. So, three dramatic onstage breakups in the late 20th century. Kind of read more about them if you'd like. I find them all fascinating. I'm Michael Douglas. If you like what you see here on the channel, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And as the late great Barry White always used to say, let the music play. And I'll see you on the next episode.